We'll be starting the session, and the Q&A section is open for all to put in your queries. And once I will be briefing you and giving my advice about how you all should be going about this 3 months. And later on, I'll take on your queries and I'll resolve and answer all of them. So the first thing what I would like to start off with is to tell you guys that this 90 days, basically you have to choose that this 90 days will change your life, first of all. And second thing is how you strategize now will decide your rank. So obviously what you see and what you all know that yes, luck does play a factor, but 90% is discipline and hard work. There is no replacement of that. So you all have to give your best for this 90 days to secure a good rank. And also the most important thing what I would like to tell all of you is that NEET SS is not just that you study everything, means reading everything, completing everything. You will complete everything once, but the most important thing is that what you do about the quality and what you do in this less time with more precision. That is what is important, because reading everything once will obviously give you a psychological positive motivation that okay, I have read everything, but that will not demarcate and appear in the results. So this is something which I keep on telling all of you. And what is important to understand that sometimes or many of you would be in panic mode today that you have 3 months. How about should you go? Remember this Parkinson's law that the lesser the time you have, the more effort you will put in if you decide that I want to complete this in this much time. If you think that I have 90 days, you will be working hard accordingly. If you tell yourself that you only have 45 days, your body and brain will react in such a way and will help you to complete and reach your target, what you have set for yourself. So this is a very important thing what I want to tell you all, and all of you should keep in mind that the more effort you want to put in the less time, remember that you need to be determined that okay, I need to complete this in this much time, this much hours, this much days, and you will be able to put in those hard work. But please don't lag now. Now is the time that sit 90 days target your NEET SS 2025. Okay. So now, why did I take this session today itself? What is important and why I want to take this session today is that what happens is that sometimes those students who may be reading from last few months or those who would want to start from now, but suddenly the time frame with the psychological thinking that, oh, I have only 3 months less time, how will I be able to complete it? This is why I wanted to give you direction that however you can go, because some students may lose their focus midway that why am I working hard and I will not be able to complete the course, I'll not be able to score good. And that is why this is something which is very important. I want to tell all of you that 90 days is enough time to prepare for NEET SS. Okay. And you need to put in hard work. Okay. If you plan it wisely, 3 months is not a very short period. Okay. You need to be smart about your preparation. That is very, very, very important, because just reading blankly, as I told, is not going to help you in any way. Now, what will I cover in this session? I'll be covering about how you should go about daily schedule, monthly wise schedule, how you should be utilizing the resources well. That is a very important thing which all of you should understand. What is the mock exam strategies, which is the most important, and what revision and recall techniques. I'll be highlighting some of them so that it helps you to prepare better. Next, now, as I told that you don't have to cover everything, that is very important. You need to prioritize. There was a student asking me about balancing and deciding between INISS and NEET SS. Now, this is a very basic thing. This is something which you all need to start prioritizing right now, that which exam to give, what topics you need to read, what topics you can leave, because You may think that you have enough time to cover everything, but sometimes it may happen with all of us that sometimes our speed will not match and we may miss out on something. So you need to prioritize so that you do not miss out on important things. And remember that it is not just reading and knowledge, it is the application under pressure. And this is something where the mocks are going to help you to practice that application under pressure. Next, consistency. As I said, you can read for 10 hours straight. You will be completed two topics, but if I ask you after 1 week from those topics, you will definitely make mistake. So you need to be consistent, you need to be sincere, and even studying 3 hours daily, which may be a lot of time for some students who may be doing a research, working somewhere. So focusing in that few hours and reading is much better than sitting and just studying for 10 hours, in which the quality studying would be for 1 or 2 hours. So this is very, very, very important. Next, now, why is it enough? So as I told, that 3 months is actually enough time. Why? Because first of all, remember that exam is MCQ based. Okay. So it is not something which you have to mug up and write long answers. You need to apply your clinical reasoning. And the most important word here, which I have emphasized a lot, and this is also what many achievers have told before, that recall, revision is something which is going to help you to score the extra MCQs, which will change your rank. So I'll come to those points in detail about the nitty-gritties of the preparation. But remember that whatever you're reading now or what you've read in the last few months, now is the time to plan in such a way in that in the last 15 to 20 days, what you will revise. That is something which will help you to achieve the desired result. Now, why again is it enough? That obviously you all are either preparing for your MS exams or have already crossed it. So you have the 80% base knowledge. Okay. Now you have to do smart reading and targeting of specific questions, specific MCQs, topics, so that it helps you to go level up. And this is something which I have again told you, that discipline, structured reading, and mock practice is enough to yield success in some or other way. Now, you need to also change your mindset, because some students may be reading till now thinking that, okay, maybe the exam is in December, Jan, it will be delayed, it may get postponed. Don't fall into that trap of discussion with your friends or colleagues. Think that the exam is on the date which has been mentioned by NB, and you have to prepare accordingly with minimum of 30 days buffer period for revision and recall. So switch on your brain now from passive to active question solving mode. Train your brain in such a way that even when you're reading theory, reading notes, your mind should think that what if a question is asked from this line? How will I remember this? How will you think about it? That is how your mind should be from now. And this is a very important thing which I've observed multiple students doing, that they'll take 4 or 5 things from different sources and will try to read everything, but eventually miss out on certain topics, not able to revise. So you have to stick to one source, whatever it is, stick to that, and you need to revise, revise, revise. That is how you're going to score a rank, and treat every MCQ as a learning opportunity. Okay, don't think that, okay, I've read this, I've solved 50 MCQs, I'm done. No. Even if in 50 questions you're making 10 mistakes, write those down and revise them so that it helps you to become better. So as I said, you need more focus. Time is not something which is important right now. So now let's start with some details. So what is the NEET SS format? We all know that first of all, it is most probably 7th and 8th November. Okay. Next, it is 150 questions, and it is divided into 50 question, three sections with 50 minutes each. That is, once you have done the first 50 questions, your section will get locked. You will move on to the second section, that will get locked, and you will then do the final section. And that is how the NEET SS paper is, and that is how the Surgical Scholar TND and the Decathlon mock exam series are in the app to give you practice of this time bound section based exam. Now you need to practice this mode very, very, very diligently. Do repeated practice. We are having nearly 60 to 70 surgical scholar test and discussion. We are having nearly 15 mock exams, full length. Practice with this time bound section base, because ask your seniors or colleagues who have cleared last year that why is practice important, because sometimes your brain is not in the habit of solving within that time frame. Because if you solve this 50 and you think that you may come later, and at the end of the section time you will not be able to go back, and you may miss out on certain questions. So practice is very important for NEET tests, especially with this time bound section based. Because if you miss out even on one or two questions thinking that I have time later, let me come back, sometimes you will not have those time and those questions will be skipped. So make sure that you're thorough with the pattern, lock it in your brain, keep practicing those MCQs in this practice time bound section base, and keep on repeating them so that you are able to achieve and be at the ease of the mind when you're sitting in the NEET essays. And that is why our mock exams are available to be attempted in the laptop also. So make sure that if you have access, attempt in that, sit for 2.5 hours and practice those, sit for those 30, 40 questions of our TND and solve those in time bound section base. It will help you a lot. So we all know that this is how the NEET SS is. Now, this is something which many of you have asked, and specifically I've tried to cover this because I tell you that there is no fixed weightage for anything about superficiality questions or general surgery. You have to be very diligent that all 150 questions will be from all specialties and general surgery. So don't even think about that. I'll read this and I'll skip this, thinking that some topics are more weightage. No. If you see last year and even 24 and 23 paper, you'll see that it has been a random bunch selected from all topics, not a specific topic has been given more weightage. So please keep this in mind. Next, now month wise. So what I want to tell you is a brief overview what you guys can utilize. Now remember that one size does not fit all in the NEET SS preparation. So you have to be very diligent in your studying and your theory reading and MCQ practice, because all are different. So the first month is something which I would like to tell you that this is the foundation which will be there for the NEET SS. So here what you need to do is that select a book. Just excuse me. Yeah. So the first and foremost is the foundation. Now, here is something which one or two queries are also there, that if you choose to read Bailey, try and complete that. Okay. Add on the second book if you have time. Okay. And you need to choose the material what you are going to revise just the 10 to 15 days before your exam. So choose your foundation book material, or our notes, or Bailey or Savastan or shorts. If you have been reading Bailey Savastan, want to add on shorts, add on now, start reading now. If you have stuck to Bailey or you have read just important topics from Savastan, stick to that. Add on the MCQ bank and the mock exams with the textbook reading with our notes, but stick to one material. Make a schedule that how you will cover the topics from the material what you have chosen, be it the textbook that is either of Bailey or Savastan, or our notes powerhouse second edition, or if you have any other notes, stick to that. Make decide your foundation book. And I would advise you that even if you are have not having time to complete Savastan, stick to Bailey and cover it line to line from first to last page, and add on the Sabiston notes of ours, or with the MCQ bank, with the TND and the decathlon, so that you don't have the stress of completing the textbook. You have a material so that you are having a psychological satisfaction that, okay, I have one material, I have to complete it, choose it. Don't sit and make a schedule that, okay, I'll read CTVS in this much time, and then you'll keep on reading the textbooks and it will be more than 1 month. Don't do that. Decide your foundation textbook now and try to read from that. The most important thing is to complete any topic properly from one source, stick to that source, and revise from that. That is how this short duration or the duration with the sudden announcement of date is, this is how you can deal with that. And another important thing what I would like to tell you is that you should be all be having a mindset of reading the first 60 to 70 days, and last 20 to 30 days should be your revision. Don't keep on reading till the exam thinking that I want to cover all. No. If, for example, if out of the 150 questions, there are 100 questions which you know, there are 20 questions which are from the topics which, if you could have revised well, you could have answered, and there may be 5 to 10 questions which may be from the topic which you have left. But to cover those topics which you will not be able to recall, you may miss out on this 20 questions. So make sure that whatever you're reading, whatever schedule you make, you give the last 20 to 30 days, or the stretching a lot, maximum, or sorry, minimum of 15 days for revision. Don't skip out on revision. That is my advice to all of you. Now, month two. Now, why I told that first month should be your foundation and fast coverage, because what happens is, as the exam comes near, we come into the psychological pressure to complete things, and it may happen that sometimes you will read very fast, you will skip things, and you will not read with quality. So what is important to understand: month one, decide your book, decide your note, decide your material, start reading. And most important thing is that you need to solve MCQs from day one, that is from today. Don't wait that I will complete the topics and then I'll start solving MCQs, or after that I'll start solving mock exams. No. Please ask the last year students who have achieved and who have given our mock exams, that mock exams will help you. What, in what way? The mock exams will help you. First, it will give you an understanding of where you're lacking. Second thing, it will give you certain new topics which you've already read, but you are making mistakes. It will give an idea that how you are appearing or how your mind is working in the exam. So that is what is important, that MCQ solving has no replacement if you want to achieve success in NEET SS. So make sure that with your theory reading you solve MCQs. And in the month one, I will advise you all to give a ratio of 60-40, 40% for MCQ solving, 60% for reading. Now, when we come to the month two, your ratio of MCQ solving to theory reading should go be 50-50. Okay, this is important. In month two, that is, you have time. For example, in September, you should try and solve as many MCQs as possible, but don't skip out on reading the concepts and theory reading. And if you have our question bank, you'll see that we have given each subtopic or paragraph or the topic from the question. We have given an explanation. Read those. Don't just solve the MCQs and move on to the next. Read those topics. Make sure that you're able to read, you're able to recall, and you're able to remember. And if you're making mistakes, make a mistakes journal. And this is the time, that is month one and month two is the time to do this. This is very, very, very important. Now, you may have question about what book to read and how much to read. Now, I'll come to that later on, that if you want to get an idea about what to read from Bailey, Saviston, then I'll give you an idea later on about how you can do that. And I practically believe that now Schwartz reading is practically impossible if you want to cover Bailey Saviston. So stick to our notes and MCQs and the mock exams for covering the Schwartz things. Mock exams will give you enough coverage of Schwartz, and I lay emphasis on Schwartz a lot because in the last 2 years they've asked questions from that. But to don't be under pressure, try to complete Bailey. try to read Sabiston, whatever topics you have read, and add on short things from our mock exams and MCQs and make a note of that. Many of the achievers of last year have done that, so do that. And as I told, third month, the last 15 to 20 days is very important because that is the time for revision, revision, revision. So minimum of once to maximum thrice, I would recommend for all of you to revise whatever you have read. Don't think that you have covered all the topics, but you have not revised and okay, I'll be able to read. No, it does not work that way. You need to revise, revise, revise. That is very, very, very important. So as I said that your one first month should be starting with daily, and this I'm telling about for the MSPGs who are preparing for the theory. For the students who have just completed the counseling, they were dicey about getting a rank or getting a seat, and now they want to appear for NEET SS. There are only two types of people, and there are some who have just started now. And many of you had a mindset that maybe it is in December, Jan, but now it is early. So now start with Bailey, add on the important topics from Shorts and Sabiston in your reading, add on our notes and material and MCQs, and that is how you'll be able to go about and do it properly and stick to one thing. Decide that, okay, I'll read and complete this much, and I'll make sure that I revise that. Just stick to that. Don't just think that, okay, I want to read this also, that also. You won't be able to cover everything if you keep on jumping around. Now, about the schedule. So, as I said, that this is, I have repeated this multiple times. What happens and what you need to do is the 90 days you need to divide into 3 months, as I told, month one, month two, month three. Then you need to divide each month into 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. Each 10 days you need to divide into three, 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 and the 1 day for buffer. Each 3 day period you need to divide again into and make a schedule of daily. That in those 3 days, what you have decided, what you read on day one, day two, day three, and in each day, this is something which I would recommend. Start your morning by reading fresh. Don't start with solving MCQs in the morning. Read something. The morning period is the best time for theory reading. When you start getting bored, or then start solving. So part one of the day, start with theory reading. Then you move on to the MCQs, mostly in the mid-afternoon period when your NEET SS will be, so that your mind is trained to solve MCQs at that time. Then in the evening, revise something which you have read 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 1 week before. Okay. Then at the night, again, you do theory reading, and before you sleep, just revise something which you have read in the day. That is how you will be getting more revisions in a day. Now, I lay a lot of emphasis on active recall. Now, what I mean by this is that if you have read a theory of, let's say, breast today, solve the MCQs of the topic which you have read 1 week before. For example, if you read thyroid before, solve the MCQs of that day on that day. Then the theory reading should be of that topic, but the MCQ practice should be of another topic. Read and delay the MCQ solving by a few days so that it helps you in retention and recall both. Because when you solve an MCQ, it helps you in recall, and when you come across something which you've forgotten, it helps in retention of that. So try to use this active recall method to solve your MCQs, and try to solve the MCQ bank, then do the TND, and then do the mocks. And make sure one thing is important about the mocks, which I'll come to later on. So this is how you can divide the daily schedule, that is 90 days into, I follow a rule of three. And something which I had told earlier also, and which I would like to repeat again, is that you all should maintain a journal of daily that, okay, I have to read this much and solve this much MCQs daily. And at the end of the day, mark that, okay, I've read this, I've solved the MCQs. If you have done more than 80%, it will give you a psychological motivation that, okay, I am on the right track. I don't need to worry, and give yourself affirmation daily. And that is how it will help you. So this is very important. Now about the resources. Now I've already mentioned first, but again, I would like to lay emphasis that Bailey is very important. Don't skip out on reading Bailey. If you have read Bailey and read Sapiston before, you can read both of them. If you don't have time, read Bailey completely. Add on the important topics of Sapiston, which we usually read during a theory exam, and add on the endocrine portion of shorts if you have read that as well. And if you don't want to read or you're thinking that reading textbook would be enough, you can read all of them in our second edition notes. So this is something which you can follow. And MCQ practice has no replacement. So please, please, please follow that. Now, this is something very basic which you all need to read for sure, with or without notes or with or without any material. Now, also another thing which I want to emphasize is that with the 3 months time period, there are many students asking about the videos. Now, if you feel that watching videos will help you, then surely, but 3 months watching all videos, revising them will be a difficult task. So please weigh in on that and then decide to watch videos or not. But definitely, I'll tell you that in the test and discussion and the mock exams, do watch the videos because that will help you for revision of those topics. Now, how to approach an MCQs. Now, this is very important, which I want to tell all of you is that there are, my opinion is to solve 50 to 150 MCQs per day for sure. Do delayed solving, that is read and solve after 5 to 7 days. Next, solving MCQs, ideally in test mode, and then using the explanation to revise. That is how you can recall better. Because if you have answered out of 50 questions in practice mode, I'll guarantee you that many of you will just click on any option to read the explanation. That will, you will not think. So in test mode, think, answer, solve the MCQs all together, sit for that one duration, and then go through the solutions. It may take some more time, but if you do it properly, I can guarantee that those topic you will be having good knowledge and you will have better retention. And from the mistakes, now this is very important that I told earlier also, that make a mistake journal and or either use a bookmark option to bookmark all the MCQs which you are making mistakes, you find tough, you are getting confused, you are unable to recall. Make a mistake journal or bookmark them and make sure that you revise that during the last 1 month. So MCQ approach is how this needs to be done. That not just plain practice that you click an option, you get an answer, you read that. No. Try to do in test mode. If you think that it will take you more time, okay, you can do in practice mode, but make sure you read, you try to think about the answer, then you select the answer and then you see the explanation. Now, another thing what happens in test mode is that because you don't know what you've answered, you may tend to change the answer later on. So that is also something which will help you to understand how your mind works. So try to solve the MCQs daily. I have told you what you need to take care. That is how you can go about it. Mock exams and self evaluation. Now, 3 months is a good enough time, and that is why we are starting the mock exams next week. That what it does is that it is not necessary, first of all, that you need to be thorough with all the topics before starting mock exams. You need to be aware that mock exams will give you an idea that okay, I this topic I have never read, this topic I have read somewhat, this topic I have read thoroughly. You will make a lot of mistakes in the exam one. You will find a lot of difficult questions, you will get demotivated. But make sure that you do not do that. You stick on, you solve all the mock exam. That is very important, along with the MCQ practice, revision, and theory reading. The mock exam practice is something which will change your reading pattern. It will help you in practice, it will help you in understanding your mistakes, and it will help you to become better, so that when the exam comes, you're not in the stress of the giving and sitting for 2.5 hours, because I've already done that multiple times. And that is how the mock exams actually help you, that not just with the concepts, not just with the mistakes, not just with the revision, it helps you to train your mind that how to think in that 2.5 hours. So start from now. Whenever you make a mistake, see where you're making mistakes in each exam, track them, see the topic. If you're making more mistakes in one topic, try to revise that more. If you're making mistake of changing the answers, make sure you do that less. Understand your way of giving the exam, how you are appearing, how your mind is working, where you're getting confused. That is how you need to evaluate yourself, because just reading a topic and going for an exam and reading a topic, applying that in MCQs, making yourself better with with each exam, trying to reduce the number of mistakes, trying to think in a better way, trying not to get confused, trying to rule out options, trying to practice different types of questions will help you to become better when you reach the NEET SS. So that is how the mock exams will help you. Now, what are the common mistakes to avoid? Now, one foremost mistake which all of you make is you solve a lot of MCQs and try to read retrograde. Don't do that. Read and then solve the MCQs. That is something which you should do. And if you're unable to read Savastan, then you can do this, but try to read from the notes or book and then try to solve the MCQs. Second thing is many students don't practice MCQs. Please don't do that. Please solve MCQs. Many students try to solve mocks after they've completed the course. Don't do that. Start the mock exam practice now. Very, very, very important. Don't do that. Okay, these are the common mistakes we should avoid. And lastly, motivation and mindset. Be active, have a positive mindset, surround yourself with your colleagues, discuss with them, think optimistically that yes, you can do it, give your 200%. This is something, mindset is something which will help you to tide over and achieve success. So please make sure you do that. So take home message: NEET SS is achievable. You need to put in hard work. You need to solve MCQs. You need to solve mocks, and you need to read thoroughly. And remember that one another common mistakes which a lot of you make is about the thinking that this topic is important, this topic is not important. Don't do that. All are important. Try to read and cover everything and make sure that whatever you do, you read properly. So that is about what I wanted to tell. Now it's open, Q&A is open, and I'll start taking your questions and I'll answer them one by one. So first question is about only focusing on notes or with selective Bailey said savvy reading will be good. Yes, only notes is not a good idea. Combine that with selective textbook reading, because I understand that sometimes you may feel that you have less time. So utilize the notes well. Definitely, it will help you because you have covered everything and we have given the one liners, MCQs to make yourself practice. So you can do that. That is a good idea. Question bank, I've told, and I'll tell again that read and solve Bailey MCQs for sure. If you're unable to read Savison, solve the Savison MCQs and make your notes or bookmark them and revise those questions where you're making mistakes, because there will be some overlap between the concepts of Bailey and Savison. Some questions will be new. And for the Schwartz, cover the mock exam questions. And for clinical scenario oriented, solve all the clinical scenario oriented questions in a RAM. For those who have only finished for 3 months, I've already told almost everything. So for tracking your preparation, track your mock exam scores, and especially because we are giving a topic-wise analysis of the questions, you will understand that which topics you are scoring well, you are making mistakes, and track that and become better after every exam. That is how you should do it. Now, for the exam going postgraduates, very important that from now on, solve MCQs, combine it with your theory reading of for your MS exams and solve MCQ side by side and solve mock exams. And as I said, that there may be some new topics or MCQs, just make a note of that and revise that before the exams. Yes, you can start now and you can finish in 90 days and prepare for NEET SS and get a rank. Uh, Revisions, I've already told that you need to do 1 to 3 time revision is must. Once is must. Thrice is very good. If you cannot, twice, target revising twice. I've already covered that anti-grade reading, that is textbook or notes followed by MCQs is better. If you don't have time, for example, in Schwartz or Sabison, if you don't have time, certain topics, you can go retrograde, not an issue. And yeah, tables, charts, images of all three textbook for sure. Don't miss out on that. Even if you don't have time to read theory, make sure you cover each and every table of Bailey, Savison, and Schwartz. Don't expect any delay or postponement in the exam date. It is very less likely that the exam can get postponed or delayed. So don't think about that. For any student who are thinking of joining or taking leave, take a leave and start preparation now. Don't wait for any delay or postponement. Just sit and study. You will be able to score. For allotting time and studying during SRship, a lot all the time you get other than your work to studies, and my advice would be to take leave and minimum 1 to 2 months. Please sit and study. With the time frame what we have, achieving and reading for both INISS and NEET is very difficult according to me. So select one exam and stick to that. Don't try to put your foot in two boats at the same time. I choose one boat and just float that. The second edition notes are more than enough to cover all three textbooks and to give you adequate practice. To concentrate on both NEET tests and postgraduate exams, you need to concentrate on the concept clarity and read for your theory and all those topics, solve the MCQs. And most important is that don't just stick to theory reading, combine that with MCQ practice. Then you can balance out both your theory PG exams and your NEET tests. You can avoid ortho, ENT, eye, opthel. You can avoid all three from Bailey. Everything else need to be read. Scholar test and discussion will try to end it in September. Test will be making them live as soon as possible, and discussion also will be catching up to the schedule and the time frame of NEET SS. So even if it is difficult for us because we have planned a lot of live things, so we'll be trying to catch up to the speed and try to complete it by September or October mid. So if you want to cover our notes in, let's say, 2 months, it is definitely a lot of, it is very extensive notes because you have covered three books. But if you do prioritize your notes reading by topics, that is basic surgical principles to uro, neuro, cardiac, pediatric, plastic, and then move on to GIT and euro at the last, you'll be able to cover very nicely. So even I've made it in such a way that even if you are reading one topic from start to finish, you'll be getting minimum 2 to 3 revisions while reading that. So that is the how we have designed the second edition notes. So I think you can cover them very adequately. You need to prioritize according to the topics and don't just start with GIT because you are comfortable. Keep that for the last. We have the priority 1, 2, 3 topics which you have given in the study planner. Utilize that to plan your reading. That is priority 1, what you'll read, priority 2, what you'll read, and what will be the last priority. Really plus notes and MCQs is what I'll advise now. Videos, it is very dicey thing because it can be very extensive videos and you need to revise them. So I would advise that daily notes and MCQs. Fear of failure is common with everyone. You can just be positive that you are giving your best, and whatever happens is not in your hands. You can give your best and you can achieve if you decide to. So just think about the positive mindset and keep reading and revising, thinking that whatever I'm doing, I'm giving my 100%, I'll get a seat. I am not aware about any other material, so I'll not be able to comment on that. I'll be able to comment on our material, and I've already covered that and how you can utilize our material. You should read MCQs and notes side by side. Don't keep that reading different, MCQs different. As I've given a schedule that plan in such a way that you utilize the notes and the books and the MCQs in a perfect balance. No, I would not advise you to think that, okay, if you read for 8 to 10 hours for NEET SS, 2 hours for INISS, it will give you good because you need to read and revise. You can't give your half-hearted things for both. My personal opinion is that stick to one exam. Yeah, for those who are reading our first edition, yes, you can go about reading those and solving MCQs. It will also help you to cover things. You don't be in the FOMO that if you don't have the second edition, you'll not be able to read. Even if you have first edition or even textbook reading, make sure that whatever material you are reading, you solve them and revise them properly. Now, I'm not emphasizing much on the topics or the selective topics because everything is important. So I will not be commenting on a specific topics. But yes, priority 1, 2, 3, how to prioritize, we have given in our study planner. Please utilize that. See, if you don't have time and you want to stick to the notes, yes, that would be enough because you have covered everything from all the books. So even if you want to do that, it is okay. So about the mock exams and what you should score and how many correct and incorrect, I'll come to later on when we start with the mocks. So just give the first exam. I'll take a short session to explain that how you can utilize them better. Yes, Bailey reading, I think it is must. It is non-negotiable. You need to read Bailey line by line, even with the notes, without the notes, or your own notes. Please make sure that Bailey is must. MCQ mock exams, test and discussion is something which I'll advise you all to do right now with the textbook reading or note reading, obviously. Videos is something which you need to decide on your own because sometimes what happens is that the video content may be extensive and you may not be able to cover that in short time frame because of the psychological stress that you have certain time. You need to complete, you need to revise, you need to solve MCQs. So decide, but my opinion would be that more towards reading and revision rather than watching and revising those. If you are making incorrect answers, note that from your mock exams and make sure you revise them again or bookmark them and revise them again. Prepare for NEET assess, give NEET assess in the 15-20 days after NEET assess. Read thoroughly for the specialty subject for INSS. That is something which I'll advise you to do. Yeah, working and studying is okay if you're getting enough time. If you're not getting enough time for studying, then you should put a leave and study. That is what I'll advise you. If even you are reading our notes and you can accommodate and read daily, then please do that. If you cannot, then notes should be enough. At least 1 to 2 mock exams. That is how we have planned that within 4 days, we are keeping one mock exam because we need to cover 15 mock exams in nearly 60, 70 days. So roughly it will be 4 days, one exam. So you can stick to that schedule and you'll be able to read them. Second edition notes, you can order them and you can start reading that. TND in the month one and month two, last 1 month, that is last month of your reading, just revise your material notes and the bookmark questions. Don't solve completely again. Revise, revise, revise the bookmark, the mistakes, the notes, revise that. Yes, as I told, that you can read your first edition notes for Sapison and Shorts. That will be enough. So don't think that only second edition you have to read. I am giving you the option of our materials. You can use it accordingly. The second edition notes are available in the hard copy and in the e-notes in the Plan 3. Yeah, for those who are doing SRship and they have 3 months to read, I would advise you to take a leave and read, please. Even I did that during my NEET assess preparation. So no, last 2 months is non-negotiable. You should read with 100% dedication to reading only. Yeah, so if you have less time, you cannot go through all the books, then yes, as I told, that question bank mocks and the second edition notes will be enough. Yes, urology needs to be read. Gynec, you can avoid. Priority of topics, priority 1, 2, 3, I've already mentioned. It is there in the study planner, which is there on the website. You can access that through the app. You can go through that. I have divided the priority wise topics, which needs to be done first, which needs to be done second, and which needs to be done last. Decathlon series or the mock exam series is separate. You need to take that separately. I think that whoever has their exam in October or November, I think that by the time results come, all of you will become eligible. So don't worry, prepare and appear. You will be eligible and you will be able to get a seat. As I said, that SRship, if you're doing last 3 months from now, please take a leave and read. If you have 5 to 6 hours in a day, you want to incorporate MCQ practice, you can utilize our notes because it is in an easier way, point-wise manner, emphasize the important things. So that will make your life easy. But if you think that you want to read textbook, then you can do that. But if you want to stick to notes, it should be enough as well. The notes are separate. We have made it standalone to be read, so you can utilize that without the notes, without the videos. So if you have prioritized your first reading for a particular topic from a particular book, now reading new things will be difficult to cover in this time frame. So if you have read something, if you have missed something, read those first and then come and revise that whole thing again. So that even if you've read from one material, you should read and stick to one material which you can revise easily in the last 1 month. So that is why I'm telling you to that decide one material and stick to that. Mock exam questions, how you can revise is that you can revise from our explanation, because we are going to give an explanation of the textbook, and also we are going to give the justification about why one answer is correct and the others are incorrect. So just go through that. It will cover your textbook portion as well. If you like the visual memory, then you can go to the textbook and read. But otherwise, if you are okay with the conceptual clarity what we are giving, you can just read the explanation what we are giving in the mock exams. You should start MCQ practice, test, and discussion in mocks from now. There is no substitute for that. You should not wait for the last month or the second last month to start. Start from now. Those are reading for the first time, read from Bailey and add on the points what were mentioned from Sebastian and Schwartz. That is how you can read the general surgery portion. And yeah, this session will be available on YouTube. I'll be uploading them soon. In the last 5 volumes, we have just the GIT portion. So other than that, we've already. So the last 5 volumes will be uploaded in the app soon. That will be giving you access to the GIT notes. All the others we have already sent to the first 200 to 50 users who have ordered our notes. Decathlon series, you can register from the link we have provided in the group. If the answers vary between Bailey and Sebastian, stick to Bailey for NEET SS. In the Bailey, you should leave ortho, ENT, gynec, opthel. You can leave this. Daily MCQ target, as I said, 50 to 150 questions is the target what you should have. Last 1 month, don't skip MCQs, revise them and solve the mocks. That is how you can go about the MCQ solving. Totally, I'm not telling you to totally stop MCQ practice in the last month. Stick to reading and revising and solving the mocks and practicing the bookmark questions. That is what you need to do now. Yeah, if you have any material, MCQs from our app will be covering all three books. If you solve them all three books will be covered. That is what I can guarantee you. Daily is must. Decathlon is a separate series for all. Yeah, it is enough. If you cannot read books, the notes should be enough. MCQs in last month for sure, but solve the bookmarks and the mock exams, because we are planning October, we are planning 4 to 5. So nearly you get the MCQ practice and the bookmark questions will be enough for you. 22nd edition of Sebastian is not coming before November. So forget about that. It will be launched after it is not going to come later on. Your exam will be from 21st. So just stick to that. Yeah, any MCQs from our app will cover all three books. So MCQs, if you solve from our material, from our app and the mock exams, I can guarantee that it covers all three books. Neurosurgery, Bailey is enough. It is very nicely covered. TNT schedule, I'll be putting up in the group. Biostats, yes, you can do just the notes and the MCQs what we have in our app. NEET is slightly less preference for biostats, but I'll tell you if you have time, just cover what you have mentioned. We have given in the app. Yeah, if the second edition notes you have read, Bailey is covered in that, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, if you take the MCQ bank in the test and discussions and the mocks, your MCQs will be covered in detail from all three books. Yeah, MCQ, TND, mock, and Bailey should be enough in the time frame what we have. Yeah, in the second edition notes, we have given all the images and tables and charts and everything. So it should cover everything to help you in preparation for NEET SS. So I have covered almost everything. Any more queries, please let me know. Otherwise, any other queries, please let me know in the Q&A. Otherwise, For the mock exams and the target, we'll be giving you, I'll be taking a session once we start the mock exam. So solve the first two mock exams, then I'll give you an overall idea about how you can go about. Biostats, as I told that it is less tasked in NEET SS, but if you have time, you can just cover those from our uh, MCQ bank. To answer the question of you can get first rank in 3 months of preparation, yes, many of the, if you see the last year achiever, Dr. Yash, he was also a fresh MS candidate who prepared with his theory exam. So yes, you can achieve that. If you choose to read and give your all, you can achieve that. Exam anxiety is common, but try meditation, stick to basics, stick to a schedule, and be patient and give your 100%. And just concentrate on giving your all. Don't concentrate on the future. That is how you develop that anxiety and panic. Don't think about the exam date, delay, or anything. Just stick to reading, make a schedule, and follow that. Yeah. MCQ, bank, TND, mocks of our platform, with or without our notes, you can easily cover all three books. Mock exam and the decathlon is the same thing. Decathlon series is separate from all the plans in the app, so you need to take it separately. Yeah, it should be enough. Yes. Mock exams is compulsory. According to me, that is even what the last year achievers have told that it helped them a lot. And that is how I have designed it with the analytics and the mock exams. That if you do it, I can guarantee you that if you solve them very sincerely, by the time exam comes, you'll be in a safe mindset of how to attempt and how to go about the exam. Nearly 1 to 2 months is something what it takes. Many of you have raised their hand. If you have any query, please mention in the Q&A. I'll be happy to answer them. So I don't see any more queries now. So I'll end the session here. And in case you guys are having any other queries, you can reach out on WhatsApp to me. I'll be happy to answer them. So if you have read from any other source, if you have read in the last few months, you can stick to that. If you have not had any material, you can change that. But whatever you choose now, you stick to that till the exams. Yeah, if you solve the MCQ, TND, and the mock exams, the MCQ part, as I told, that it will be enough because in that way you'll be covering nearly 10, 11,000 questions, covering all three books and with all variety of questions. So I can guarantee that if you sincerely solve that, all three book concepts will be covered. For we have just mentioned the specialty in the registration form for our database, but you can choose in the NEET tests. It is obviously a 150 question pattern, so don't worry about that. Any other query? Okay, then thank you all and all the best. Don't worry, you can reach out to me anytime for any other queries. I'll be happy to answer them and assist you and guide you. And we will be regularly meeting like this. I'll be taking sessions in between to guide you and motivate you and help you out. So thank you all. We'll end the session here. And if anything, you can reach out to WhatsApp, reach out to me on WhatsApp. Thank you.